One, two, 1, 2, mic check. Mic check.
I don't want Let's get naked. Like the disc do, like the used to do. Step on the floor, baby, me and you, baby, me and you. Let's get naked. Let's get naked.
All right, let's get to it. Let me adjust this camera though. There we go. Hey family, and thank y'all for tuning in to another episode of Let's Get Naked with MzMo. Listen, it's morning time. Let me stir my little coffee. Well, it's more like a little brew that I got going on, right? Let me take a sip. It's a little brew that I got going on. You know, anybody that knows me knows I don't deal with Western medicine too well unless I absolutely have to. So I'm always trying to find herbal remedies and teas that will help me be a healthier person. So this is a concoction that I've brewed with all the different herbs and things that I've found to be healthy for my body or good for my body and my system. And I brew it up every morning. It's a little bit of oregano, cinnamon, turmeric, and then I be adding like allspice and nutmeg for for flavoring. I guess I'd be making my own little chai tea. Maybe I am a hood barista, low key. All right. Anyway. Thank y'all, family, for tuning in to another episode of Let's Get Naked with MzMo. I know I took another week off, and I'm not going to keep explaining myself. Some weeks are just tough, and I also realize I really just want to make sure I'm giving y'all good content rather just forcing stuff out there. Y'all know this is my baby. This is my mission work, and I don't want to just put stuff out half-assed. I don't want that type of smoke. So if I have to change the frequency to bi-weekly to make sure y'all are getting good quality content, that's what I'm going to do. It's all about figuring it out, testing it out. Listen, it don't get no realer than this. I woke up, did my face routine. Let me just take a pause for that because your bitch could never. Fresh-faced, moisturized, got the robe on, you know. But let me just reiterate that one more time. Your bitch could never, ever. Shout out to my mama. Shout out to God. Shout out to those jeans. Speaking of mothers, though, just last weekend, it was Mother's Day, and shout out to my mom. Yo, she's my own personal superhero. I love her to death, and I wanted to make sure she felt every ounce of that love. Enjoyed my time with my mom and my family, had some great conversation. I will say, as I'm getting older and even being on this platform has really primed me on how to like navigate through tough conversations. Anybody that knows our family, we're a bunch of jokers, but we're very much emotionally charged. And a lot of times we struggle with communication because we're so filled with emotion. A lot of times we are not able to hear each other. I'm grateful to announce that over this past weekend, me, my brother, and my mom were able to sit down and have some really dope conversations where we tackled a couple of tough subjects, but we were able to work through them. So that was the best Mother's Day for me ever, even though I'm not a mom. But it was the best Mother's Day for my mom, I'm sure, too. And I'm going to get into that because directly after that extremely high feeling on Sunday, the following day, that Monday, boy, did I come crashing down to reality. And what the reality is, yo, I don't think we express enough. Yo, I'm a 37-year-old Black woman who is single with no kids. Let me just let that marinate. And there's a lot of us out here. So when days like Mother's Day come along, you want to celebrate the moms, you want to show love to all the mothers that you know in your life, but it does kind of hit you with a oomph in your chest that, you know, you're not able to have that title. You don't have any kids that you can love on or have love on you on that day, or even any type of recognition. I mean, I'm a fur mom, but I'm not going to be that person that's like, recognize my doggy for Mother's Day. I think that's a little crazy, guys. There, I said it. That's a little crazy. But it did get me into that mind frame of fear, quite frankly. Let's just call it what it is. As a single Black middle-aged woman, I am very much afraid of ending up old and alone. And that's not to make it seem like those who are, you know, older and single are living some miserable life. But I just thinking about, you know, that ending part of life where, you know, you have to depend on somebody to survive. And if you haven't built that solid foundation or that branch within your family, you're left assed out on your own. And I'm the youngest of my immediate family, so the way I look at it naturally is that everybody's gonna die before me. So I gotta focus on what the hell I'm gonna do with my branch. So all that to say, on Monday it put me in a really deep funk of, what's my next steps? Quite frankly, wow, I'm about to get real deep. I didn't even expect to. There was a bit of resentment inside of me because I had been married or in a deep relationship for 11 years, where I feel like, my young childbearing years were kind of stolen away from me because, I was dealing with a woman and we ain't have money to go through the doctors like that. And she wasn't trying to let me have sex with a man to procreate. So there was a piece of me that was resenting the fact that I had spent that long chunk of time not building my family, not trying to focus on, my branch and building my foundation. But I immediately snapped out of it because we can't dwell on the past and the shoulda, coulda, wouldas, because otherwise we'll be driving ourselves insane. And also, you guys, if you paid attention to my previous episodes, I also have a condition called PCOS, which makes it harder to conceive. And then even when you do conceive, it makes it harder to carry. It's a process. So I was trying to just figure it out, like, well, damn, the chances of me naturally getting pregnant are not very high. But I do want a family. So I had to start thinking, instead of getting stuck in what the problems are and complaining, I'm a person that'll sit for a day or two, but then I want to figure out solutions because I don't like feeling down. I don't know about y'all, but I don't like being depressed. I don't like sitting in funks. Even though I'll do it, I'll allow myself to do it. I don't enjoy it. So immediately I'm trying to find solutions to making sure that, I can find a way to get this funk up off me. So guys, you're hearing it here first. Okay, outside of my closest loved ones, I'm strongly, not putting it out there just yet, but I'm strongly considering the option of adoption. Yeah. I am a naturally nurturing person. Anybody that knows me, I be a fake mother all the time. A fake, mother figure to adults, to, other people's kids, things like that. I'm just naturally a nurturer. And I think, it's only fair to provide a home for people or kids who unfortunately, weren't brought into this world in that, in that environment. So I'm now having to think about the dynamics and the different details that come along with it. Number one, am I ready to take on such a big responsibility? Number two, what type of child, age range, things like that. It's crazy. It's like going shopping. Am I eBay shopping for children? This is crazy. But yeah, MzMo Phyllis, I'm going to embark on the journey of adoption. Yeah. That was my first time actually saying it and not saying, oh, I'm thinking about it. Nah, I'm going to embark on it, y'all. Holy crap. Y'all wish me luck, and I'll keep y'all posted on that process and how everything goes. But because it's been a whole 2 weeks, I got so much to talk about, y'all. So it's a solo episode, but I got so much to say, honey. First things first. Well, first things first was Mother's Day. Tackled that. First of all, ladies, my heart, single black ladies, all right, all single ladies with no kids. I'm not going to be like that today. To my single ladies with no children, and no prospects of children in the future or in the near future, my heart goes out to y'all. I see y'all. I recognize y'all. What I can say is two things. Do not let fear drive you, because it'll drive you right into hell. I think y'all know what I'm talking about. And secondly, don't beat yourself up too bad. It's all right to feel sad. It's real. It's natural. We as women, we've been told all our lives we're brought on this earth to bear children. So when it doesn't happen that way, there's a little bit of a beat up session that happens. And that's for me. I can't speak for all women. There are some women out there that are 100% okay with the concept of not having children. But I'm like I said, I'm a natural nurturer. So I want to nurture something. Maybe I should start with some plants. Maybe, I don't know. Well, I got cash. All right, I'm not going to go down that road. But anyway, so Mother's Day was, topic number one. Topic number two, and I've been itching to really get into this. And I wanted to have a male here to talk about it, but I'm going to touch on my thoughts on this person. And then maybe I'll come back with a part two where I can actually have a discussion with the male species. But if you have been paying any attention to social media, the internet, then you've heard the name Dr. Kevin Samuels. Is he a doctor, actually? I don't know. Kevin Samuels. That's what I'm gonna call him. Oh boy. And if you haven't, I strongly suggest you guys to look that man up and tune in. Not to say that he's right, wrong, or this, or the third, but I think everybody needs to make an informed opinion before speaking on anything. So I always tell people to tune in for yourself before you form an opinion. So I tuned in to the Joe Budden podcast where they brought on Kevin Samuels. It got introduced to me, and there's so many things. There's so many levels to this. What I will say is, I don't hate that man. I don't hate him. I'm not going to join on the train of bashing the man, saying he's gay, things that other, because I think that's kind of counterproductive. I don't agree with a lot of the things that he says, but I do believe he has valid points. And I'll touch on some of the points that I feel are valid. One of his biggest things is that men don't have a safe space to be able to express how they feel. And I truly 100% agree with that. Being the only girl growing up with two older brothers in a very feminine dominant family, the males in our family have been silenced to a certain extent because, you know, anything that they express, they have to worry about how it's going to affect our emotions. And that's, listen, I know I'm getting reamed by now from the ladies that love to call me a pick-me bitch. But it's not that. It's just that I understand we as women can literally say whatever we want to say to whomever we want to say and not worry about whose feelings gets hurt. And if people's feelings get hurt, it's kind of like, oh, well, if the shoe fits, wear it. But then when a guy does it, and if it's something that we don't agree with, he gets drug. Do you understand me? All like drug and made to be like a bad person simply because he's expressing beliefs and thoughts that we don't agree with. This is why I feel like men don't have a safe space to express their opinion. Whether we agree, disagree, this, that, and the third, we all have to respect each person's point of view. That's just my bottom line. And I think Kevin Samuels is pretty much, that's the core of what he's trying to preach, that you know, men need to get back to being men and being strong enough to express how you feel, what you feel, no matter what the repercussion is. Because honestly, aren't you doing yourself a disservice as a man if you're constantly shadowing, constantly filtering yourself to appease others? I know we always preach that we can't do that as women. I don't think the fellas should be doing that either. But don't shoot the messenger, y'all. Don't shoot the messenger. Again, I'm going to have more detailed conversation about Kevin Samuels. Now, what I will say is all that bullshit he talking about weight and height. Don't get me wrong. I get it. In Hollywood and in those, you know, in front of in the industry, those numbers he's throwing out are pretty accurate. Ain't nobody checking for you if you're 200 pounds plus. It's sad to say it, but it's true. But what you're not going to do, Kevin, Dr. Samuels, is make me feel like I'm less than because of the juiciness that I got on me. He almost got me for a second where I was like, well, damn, what type of diet plan do I need to get on so I could attract a successful and high value black man? And then I had to take a step back and realize there are plenty of black men, high value black men that love juicy women. So, I mean, listen, I'm not here to debate it. That's just my reality. Being juicy, I've been in encounters with high value black men. Now, clearly I'm still single, so I don't know. Maybe that man got something to it. I don't know. But what I'm not going to do, and what I want everybody else to not do, is attack that man's character and who he is as a person simply because his values don't align with yours. Like, I just feel like this society nowadays takes things way too far. Opinions are like assholes, y'all. We all got one. 90% of them stink. 99%. Unless you be douching and doing all. Okay, anyway. So that's my take on Kevin Samuels. Yeah, I appreciate him. I think he's creating the conversations that need to be had. And y'all know if there's anything I'm all about is those tough, awkward conversations. So thank you, Dr. Samuels, for creating the space for the conversations to be had. Even if I don't agree with what you're saying, I appreciate the conversation. Now, Listen, let me just say, April, May, actually 2020 to 2021 has just been acting up. I know that those who are on Instagram see the calendar where it kind of marks each month the craziness that transpires for the month. And May came with 0 disappointments. Shout out to Porscha. Y'all know I was going to talk about this. Porscha Williams from Real Housewives of Atlanta reportedly is engaged now to, I don't know this man's name, but a quote unquote friend of hers, soon to be ex-husband. So let me say that a little bit slower so you can put those pieces to the puzzle together. Porscha Williams is engaged to her friend's soon to be ex-husband. So maybe I use the word friend a little light because that's crazy. Now, as somebody who's a Real Housewife of Atlanta fan, like I seen when Porscha introduced Fallon to the show, seen Fallon give Porscha a grandioso tour of her house, showed off and flexed about how well trained her husband was. And now when I go back and watch that episode, I can see Porscha calculating like, oh, well-trained husband, beautiful home, everything is being taken care of. Okay. Like, now here's the thing. I don't want people to drag Porscha because I also am a firm believer of you only live once, yo. And we don't know the dynamics of her and Fallon's friendship. I don't know. I just know shit happens every day, B. That's why my mama always taught me when you're in a serious relationship, you don't bring your friends around and start flexing and showing off because, baby, you better believe they're going to want your goods. There's not a lot of solid females out here. I'm grateful for the close ones that I have that are solid, but I don't expect you bitches to be solid. And I'm sorry, I just got to say bitches right now because that's how I feel. I don't expect y'all to be solid, so I'm not going to set myself up for that, quite frankly. But, hey, Porscha, I'm not mad at you, sis. I'm not mad at you. If it's available, get yours. Period. That's all I'm gonna leave it at that. And I mean, he was married, but he clearly was available. But anyway, that was messy. I'm getting on my Wendy Williams bag. But I just had to check in. And I think I'm gonna do that every once in a while, maybe every 2 weeks or so. Come in and just check in on what's going on in the world, my input, what's going on in my world. And I'm always gonna hit y'all with the crazy interviews and guests. Stay tuned because I got some awesome stuff lined up for y'all. But in the meantime, listen, if you want to listen, if you want to holla at the podcast, or if you want to come on to the podcast, you have some suggestions or topics, shoot me an email, letsgetnaked1@gmail.com. Also, follow the podcast on social media on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter under Let's Get Naked, LEZGETNAKED, with an underscore on Twitter and Instagram and without one on Facebook. You can also follow me personally, MzMo Phila, MzMoPhila, and see everything I've got going on because you know I'm a Jill of all trades, okay? And that's on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. MzMoPhila. As always, family, I ask that you listen with an open heart, open mind, and open ears. And as always, yo, keep the conversations going. I love y'all, family. Peace. Come on, bro. Let's do it.
Let's get naked. Like the juice, do.